Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-hosts, Brian
All right, buddy.
and Brett.
Hey, what's up?
As you guys can see in the title, we're back to talk one of our favorite shows. It is The Amazing Race, season 35. And we're ready to cover every week. If you see here in our playlist, we covered the last few seasons. We also do season previews where we do blind guesses of the cast and who's going to win based upon their bios. Shout out to our boy Logan Saunders, the Tarstorian. He was joined and he obviously does the recap race. So obviously looking forward to him hoeing himself out to other podcasts, like I saw him saying on Twitter today, like he wanted to do. So,
Mhm. Got a
shows
leg
some
up there.
points out. The Amazing Race 35, guys, we talked about in the preview, some changes, some going back to the roots. You have to go to the airports again, which I love. I'm sure they're going to have to book plane tickets and train tickets, bus tickets, etc. The return of the U-turns, the express pass coming into play. 13 teams, no elimination legs. We will have some double legs, but that won't probably occur for a few weeks, hopefully. Overall, my thoughts, guys. I loved the episode. I thought it was classic Amazing Race. We had our classic dynamics. We had started to see a little bit of conflict. Nothing crazy yet, but it was early on. Starting in America probably made it a little bit easier in that respect. So before we go into do our full recap, Brian, I'm going to get your thoughts, and then Brett, yours as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm happy to have CBS Wednesday nights back. I like the difference in the teams. I think there's a lot of like variety in like what we're seeing. I love the Rob and Corey. The deaf dad is awesome. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting how
Dakota's
cool
son.
he was going to be. Like, and they seem pretty good. And I'm excited to talk about him and know what you guys think.
Yeah, I was curious what kind of deaf he would be. I guess because I know we have Matt on Big Brother where he actually speaks. This guy, he doesn't even speak, but he's still
Yeah,
he's pretty like animated with the
yeah.
stuff and stuff. The kid seems like a cool guy. I mean, the cast for the most part, I like. I definitely like the I guess the fact that they have to book their own travel, like you guys were saying, and they can. We had the one group that ended up on plane one, and the other group that ended up on plane two, and you don't know who's going to be on which one. You know, where's it going to cut off, and how's that going to impact the game, which I
Mhm.
think was always one of the best parts because it would completely like derail people when they have to get like the next flight or their flight gets canceled or something like that.
Right. Yo, real quick, when he was signing and driving at the same time. Do you remember that scene? Amazing.
Oh yeah,
That was
no, for
awesome.
sure. He was sick. Like
That's when
I
I was
thought it
fully
was
on board. I was like, this dude is awesome.
I like you said, I really liked how expressive he was as well. Like you said, when you probably maybe he was born deaf, like you know what I mean. So it
Mm.
seems like he had to really learn. And I thought that we had some surprising performances, some weaker performances compared to what we thought we were going to see compared in the preview, and a lot of really great stories too. Some really interesting ones. The Robin said that the story with Robin especially really touched me though. She had lost her husband, gained all that weight, then lost it. Now is like going and trying to be. I like those are feel good stories. Like the feel good stories hit me super well in Amazing Race, and in Survivor they make me want to throw up.
That team in particular. So when I was watching it and they popped up on the screen, I was like, "Who the hell are they?" I've been
Yeah,
watching the whole episode. I don't even remember
Robin and
them. Why
Chelsea.
are they here? And then she gives you the story that makes you cry. And you're like, "Well, shit. Well, I guess now I know." But
You're like you can stay. You can stay.
fine. All right.
You're good.
I
Yeah,
forgot you were here, but
yeah, and you didn't even mention the brain tumor part too. Like she went through hell. That's the bully team. I was very surprised. That's the thing. Like you read these bios and you like judge them, and you're like, oh, what are they? And then like you see them on screen, and they're completely different. That's like probably the
Hey,
cool.
you're telling me. We'll get to
Yeah,
my
yeah,
pick. How that worked out. The
yeah.
preview is you know what? I fell for a nursery rhyme, but we'll get to that. We're gonna start like we do. We're gonna go from beginning to end here. Everyone, full recap, thoughts, Easter eggs, and we have one, not two, but three Mario Party references of the day. So, two from me, one from Brian, and Brett probably wasn't aware of his homework, so I'm sure he'll find one. Oh no, he did. He had a mention. You have a
Yeah,
mention. You have an
I,
honorable mention. So honestly, pretty good Mario Party things coming in there. If it's your first time, we always find a Mario Party reference. We'll pop them up on the screen for you. Okay. The Amazing Race 35 starts in Los Angeles, California, specifically in the Hollywood Hills, famous Hollywood sign. Really cool. I thought a great location to start. I like the idea of at least getting the first flight and everything out in the United States. I think it makes for the most smooth kind of process, but obviously also they did have the roadblock. Um, we did learn that U-turns are going to be mandatory votes where they're actually going to be voting to who they're going to choose to hold back. Again, very
That's
akin
completely
to
new, right?
it kicks back to like way old Amazing Race. Like me and Brian did season 1 and 2, and they definitely you could pin it. You could choose to slow somebody down. Like you could pick somebody in particular. The voting, I'm not sure. Logan can let us know in the comments and stuff.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Never
think
done
The
voting.
voting
for that.
sounds completely new, like Survivor voting for the team you hate the most and
Which
screwing them.
again, that's come into play in certain forms in the past. But like I said, particularly for voting for U-turns, I'm not sure. So we will look into that for sure. Okay. So the first thing, the teams have to go and find the famous Bitmore Hotel in downtown LA. This is the classic, everyone stopping the guy on the street with the dog who's trying to walk his dog in the morning and gets harassed, and people were asking, well, I would kind of be like, leave me alone. I'm pretty friendly, but like it depends. I'm walking my dog. There's like 12 of you. Like, don't touch my
Right.
phone.
I think when you see these people all dressed in uniforms and like, I feel like it would take over you. Like I'm with you. I don't like talking to anybody ever, and I would have my headphones in. But if somebody came up on a show, was like, hey,
The
I'm trying
camera's
to get
bum
here,
rushing.
I would help. I think I'd help them out.
Are they
There's no
allowed
way
to?
that they didn't get that guy on like a waiver before, right? Like, I don't think you're allowed to just go up and film a dude and his dog. So
You get the release afterwards, but
okay,
or else you blur them out. But would is that guy allowed to use his phone if he wants? Like, can he just pull up MapQuest or not
they
MapQuest?
can do that. Other people can have a phone. You
Yeah.
can go into like a gas station, ask people. They could. I don't think you could technically get something
Buy a
printed
phone?
out for you, but like you have your notebook and you can write it all out. Like we saw that in old seasons
Yeah.
as well. So
I know they give you money for the game. For the game, can you just buy someone's phone off them and use it the whole race?
no phone, no nav, which is going to come into play. What's interesting, and that did come into play after the roadblock, and I'll speak to that specifically because I do have some experience driving in that very specific area, those exact exits, and seen some ramps that I've taken. So I was laughing, but the roadblock was who wants to be above it all. Tightrope walk across the from across the hotel towers per se, the different parts of the hotel. Then you had to go to a clue that was a blank of blank clue. This was supposed to be a clue to tell you where you were heading next. I had a bone to pick with this clue. I thought it was a little unfair. The answer ended up being City of Angels, which they were referring to Bangkok. I wouldn't have known that. Again, I'm sure only somebody literally like Logan would know that, but they were in LA already, which is the City of Angels. That would have been in my brain. I would have eliminated that out of my head for a while, and I would have had a little bit of an issue with that if I were the contestants.
Probably would too.
I didn't hear what the rule was. I knew it was where they were going, and I knew they were in California. That's all I knew because I missed part of the episode. But I didn't guess City of Angels until someone said City of. I'm like, oh, and then it clicked. But then I didn't even think about it before then.
Yeah,
What
I
was
was
the
like,
worst thing everyone thought it was?
it seemed misleading, right? But we did get it. They did tell us too that the first 6 teams that completed and made it to the next to the LAX airport, they were gonna have a 90-minute advantage. Before we passed though, tightrope was the impetus for our first Mario Party reference of the season. Brian, take it away.
Yeah, so this one, there's a lot of iterations of this mini game in the series of Mario Party, but treacherous tightrope is when we're just walking across as quickly as you can to your destination. Brett, you had brought up tightrope treachery, which is when you're shooting cannonballs at the people trying to knock them off. So I think that because it's a speed one and nobody's throwing things at you, because that would be a liability.
More treacherous tightrope, that's Mario Party 8. But
Yes.
yeah, tightrope I mean that's
just the classic. I mean, when you think of
is
that
the
game,
classic
that is
one,
one of
yeah.
the classic games.
Back in it,
But
the
yeah.
original and the
Yeah, I already think I have these GIFs like saved on my computer, so this is an easy. This is an easy drop
this is a
edit for
good
me.
one for sure.
With this challenge too, before we move on, I feel like there were some game mechanics that came up that we don't usually see. Like the fact that everyone was at one place at once. I know the really big, tall guy who's the high school sweetheart. He basically like said, "I'll tell you the answer if I can cut the line." But
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what was going on. Like, were they all in line to go guess a
That's
wrong
Todd.
answer? Because none of them knew what the answer was. So what were they in line for?
They weren't. I don't think they were in technically. I guess like there was gonna be a guess order line. So I think what he was saying to them was like, "I'll tell all of you,
But I go
but like I got to go before you," which obviously you would go before them. Look,
The
I
only one
did.
that knows the answer, right? He just
Yeah,
goes.
I would have left. I honestly would have left most of them, frankly. Like, let somebody else figure it out. It's too early. There's too many teams right now for you to try to be like buying favor and all. Like, whittle it down a little bit. See how
The
the game
first
progresses.
the first two teams, the Black brothers, the one guy he got the answer and he didn't give it to the gay
Yeah,
couple.
Rob and Corey.
It was only two of them. I would have been like, "Yo, dude, you're a strong team. Let's
Or is
just
that
build
that's Greg and John? Greg and John.
yeah.
build." Sorry, I don't know their names, but I would be like, "Hey, you're the only one here. I'll tell you the answer. We'll just build an alliance really quick." And then someone
That's
else
happened in past seasons for sure. That
Yeah.
definitely is thing. But it was interesting, like you said, to have like 8 teams bunched
Yeah.
together right away.
That's what I was texting somebody because they're asking me about the show. Like I was saying, like Rob shows up and just he basically is screaming the words with his like sign language, which is awesome. I love that. And I was like, and he just got it immediately. I was like, they could be pretty good. I mean, Logan said that usually deaf teams do decently well.
they
And we
looked
got.
mad that he didn't tell them the answer, but it's
I mean,
like
he can't.
he can't. Also, you weren't helping him really. He was
Right?
there, but like he
You
couldn't
can't.
hear you.
Yeah,
So
you can't. Yeah, I mean, you can't get mad at him for not
Well,
saying.
unless it was I think it was like it said on there, so I have it in here later on, but one of them actually knows how to sign. Is it like I think it's
Yeah, well,
Greg.
that's Greg and John, so they already
Yeah.
gone.
That's true. But
And
I'm
I love
saying
it. Yeah,
that was cool. And you saw them
those
make
are the
that personal
brothers.
connection when they were at the
yeah.
airport and stuff, and that'll probably I think help them bond. But
And Bill, how about we got to see the interpreter.
oh, I know.
I love that. I love that. Like that guy's gonna be. We're gonna get to know that guy a lot too. And we got to shout out Derek and Claire. They were
Yeah,
the
Derek and
winners
Claire
last
were
season,
there
giving the clue.
hanging out. I
That,
think they live out in LA. So
yeah,
I was wondering how he was going to give him the answer. If he was just going to like do his best.
I thought it was gonna be an off camera one some way, like Brian said that they shout out to the interpreter. We'll be giving him a shout out if he appears. Like if he's going on the race with them, I need more of him like running behind.
yeah.
them.
Like I want to see him like in the passenger seat, like not on camera. Like they accidentally show like this much of his face, and he's like there.
Maybe the interpreter's actually the cameraman and like he can do both. So he's the
Yeah,
one
who
who's
knows,
actually
man?
chasing around them the whole time.
I love that because like
Yeah.
that reminds me of the circle, man. Because the circle Raven, the interpreter, I thought was really cool too. Like he had like a nice personality in it. So just hopefully we could see a little more of it.
Well, I feel
Uh,
like the interpreter would only be there to interpret at the checkpoint parts and not the.
It may be separate
race
interpreters. We'll
part.
see. Like maybe he has like a yeah. I am curious. Yeah, it's not like that guy probably has like a personal interpreter, right? I mean, basically what his son is.
Provided.
So. Okay. So well, also his son could usually do it, but he was by himself.
Yeah,
They
it was
had
one of those
split
times
for
that
the
they
challenge.
needed
Yeah.
it, but we want to see him.
China Airlines guys in wonderful, and I'm saying that sarcastically, LAX airport. If you have flown in LAX in like the past year at all, it is a mess. They're building a brand new version of the airport, like right literally next door to it as it's going on, and it sucks to get in. I've never flown China Airlines out of LAX, but that was such BS that like nobody there and the no lines of people, the amount that they must clear those terminals out, just at least that part of it, because there was no way that was just like the live international terminal at LAX.
And that's the only probably negative thing I'll say about this is like, oh, you need to book a flight, but in the old days, you literally had to book a flight and
pick up
you
the
had to
phone.
do all of the work. Like they're like, okay, there's 6 spots reserved no matter what, or 12 seats, and then it's like, oh, first come, first serve. And they don't really need to do a lot of work. And like the old, remember they used to be just like hammering through phone books, like trying to call airline and stuff like that.
They were waiting. They were waiting till other teams came up behind them instead of like booking it and leaving. So
It didn't occur to me until just now, which, and I know we do have
I
some
was
older
definitely
people on there,
editing.
guys, but like, I feel like people don't even know how to book travel like that. Like, I don't think these people could book on the fly. They don't even know what they're doing. They'd be trying to pull up
Possible.
Expedia, you know what I mean? But they don't have phones. So that's, that's the tough part of the whole thing. I mean, you still can go pay cash at a counter type thing, but without that is the way to book it now. I don't think you can call. I guess you could call if your flight gets canceled to try to call, but I think they just know also modern airlines kind of suck. So I can concede the fact that they have to do it. Listen, it's way better than the charter flights though, right? Like the fact that they are getting separated by flights and things like that, that's key.
It's something. It's a step.
No, it's definitely a step. So 6 teams get to make the first flight over to Bangkok. It is a 12:05 flight. They said it's 14 hours. The first 6 teams: Robin, Corey, Jocelyn, and Victor, Todd and Ashley, Andrea, Milana, Morgan, and Lena make the first flight. They said there's 7 teams then on the second flight. 90 minutes later, 1:30 a.m. They start by going to the Wat Paknam Park. That's where the 230-foot gold Buddha statue is. Morgan and Lena get there first, and they decide to go for the express pass, which was eating a crap ton of fried bugs. I guess go for it, right? Early, if you can grab it and stash it, grab it and stash it. I hate the food challenges, so that was unfortunate.
Oh, I loved it.
That would have been tough for me, but at the end of the day, it's not an objectively hard one to do. You get there first, you're gonna, and they had so much. I don't know how they had so much time in between them and everyone else, but like they were completely.
Yeah, they did well. They
before
did well.
anyone got there.
And that was a lot of bugs, man.
It was an easy one.
Tarantula.
They were fried. It wasn't
Right,
that
right.
they were fried bugs. So the moment that I knew they were fried, I was like, well, they're going to be, I don't know what they're going to taste like. They're going to be crunchy and probably easy to put down versus squishy bugs or something slimy. So definitely I hate eating challenges, but if you're there first, you got to go for it. And the other team that came up behind them, I was like, what? Like when they bailed, I was like, why are you going to go for it? Because I was wondering, can only one team get it or can multiple teams? But
only one team can get it. That's like literally once they take it, it turns and it says like taken. So like, yeah, that's the risk. And for this first leg, it's not too much of a risk, right? Because there's 13 teams, but later on legs, and there's been more like punishing ones where you have to go pretty far out of the way to go get to the fast forward. And that's when it's like devastating that someone got there already, because the walk back now you might be in dead last when you may have been in like second before. Right, so that's where like, I don't think you're risking a lot the first leg, maybe second leg, but once you get past a certain amount of legs, that it definitely comes into play, especially when you're not like, I think Bangkok, even compared to some of the other places they'll end up, is pretty tourist friendly. I think it's not as hard to navigate as maybe some other of the towns, even in Thailand, would be. So.
Well, that's just like a big strategy moment in the show. I know, like, I think the brothers who were first team at the airline boarding, they're like, wait, did someone do it already? Like something in their mind was like, hey, other people are near us. We can't risk going if someone else might have already gotten it.
Yeah, and Todd and Ashley are like, we're not doing it. They were the only people who like actually were like, no, hard no.
Teams then have to catch a riverboat to get to the detour. The detour was swordplay or spa day. Swordplay was having to memorize a 30-second swordplay dance routine or go get a 30-second routine or go get a 30-minute massage. The only caveat to the massage is that there is only 5 masseuse artists at a time. So if you got there and all 5 were occupied, you had to wait. That only ended up happening to one of our teams later on, Elizabeth and Ileana, but we can get to that when we get to them. Guys, I thought this was we talk about this all the time, what we would do in our gut feeling. I mean, would anyone even try the sword thing?
I probably wouldn't.
The fact that it was a massage, I was like, I'm going to do the massage. I don't care if it takes longer, but I feel like this was like a messed up challenge because the whole concept is the worst one is easier or quicker, which would be the swords. And the massage takes longer and you might lose. Where in this case, doing the massage was the quicker one and it was the easier one.
If you could survive the beatdown. That's what
keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull. Hopefully Logan gives us points for this. This was like very similar to a challenge in season 1.
Yep.
You remember that? Where the guy got beat, he got like beat the hell up. Dave and Margarita. I pulled it up on the phone just for it was a full body massage. And remember he was just getting slapped around. I remember like we were laughing about it when we did the review. That's what this reminded me of.
Yeah, and what I like to think that they were doing here, and I don't know that they were, but I'm gonna put it out in the universe that they were. It's like this was more of a test of like your common sense. Hey, you want to do this really goofy hard one, guys, or do the easy one? And some people we've seen, and what we happened to the team that ends up losing the whole leg, it's analysis paralysis. It's like trying to think and outthink yourself and try to be like the smartest person in the room, or not let them try to out trick you and think. No, just go get the massage and take your chances. There's 13 teams. Just go for it, right? And that, again, this early on in the race, just don't do the path of least resistance. Don't worry about like something maybe faster. Like you said, do the sure thing. You'll be okay. If it comes down to a foot race and you're bunched with a bunch of these people, then run faster. You know what I mean? Like that's like an ideal scenario, right?
Yeah.
Like I need one foot race this season.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Even if
Okay.
the massage was gonna hurt like hell, I'd be like, I'm still gonna give it a shot. I
Well,
don't care.
poor Todd was like, oh no. And boom, she was like, oh.
Yeah.
He was the
Redo.
only one that tapped
A
out.
couple, there was like 2 or 3 that had to redo. The brothers, Liam and Jeremy had one too.
I know, but that first one was so dramatic.
Oh yeah, I know it was.
They were he was 13 minutes in on that one. I didn't catch the time on the other restarts, but that was brutal.
Massage it felt good.
I've been avoiding this, but we do have to talk about it. Alexandra and Sheridan Lichter. If you watch the preview, I let Logan's little limerick when he said Lichter Victor. I took that to be fun, and I picked them to be the winners. And I knew we were in trouble, boys, when they were going to the swords, and they showed a classic Amazing Race editing thing where they start showing the attempts. And when we first saw the 6 pop up, I went, "Oh boy, this may be it for me. This may be it for my prediction." And when they got to nine times, as the Ferris Bueller reference, you would that's too many times, guys. And it sucks because the brother sister, they smart, they work together, they seem like they're pretty in sync. But I think analysis paralysis. That was the rhyme, not Lichter Victor.
Opposite day.
That was really disappointing. Like I thought they were going to be a strong team because obviously they seemed very intelligent. They looked athletic. The guy looking at his picture, he looked athletic. Once you kind of see him being nerdy, like Michael from Big Brother. I mean, Michael was athletic. This guy was not.
It's not
athletic, or something wasn't.
The poor man's Michael.
Something wasn't clicking with this guy. He looks like he would have been good at things, but he wasn't. And then my Mario Party reference was when at the beginning they were like, you choose. No, you choose. Okay, you do it. No, you do it. No, wait, I want you to choose, but I want you to choose. So it's like when you have to hit a button and your partner has to hit a button and you have to be in sync and you're just never not in sync and then you don't go anywhere.
Like the Saw. It's like the Saw one.
Yeah, the lumberjack one. Yeah, but
there's a ton like that.
But I do have
like minecart one, I think. But
yeah, I do have an official reference here. This was my technically number 2 official reference, Mario Party reference. This one having to do with the sword play. It's a combination of 2 from Super Mario Party. That is the second newest one that's on the Nintendo Switch. There's a game called Time to Shine, which is a dance routine one where you have to strike the poses in a certain order per instruction. And then there's also another one called Take a Stab, where you have the sword and you have to pop these freaking fruit and everything as it comes. So nice combination of the 2 on the same game there. So the premiere episode, very rich with these Mario Party references, which we appreciate. And
put me to work.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're gonna get like a nice, like a little Canva, little screen. I'll work on it this week.
Nintendo sponsor us. Send me the games and the game console because I don't know.
Awesome. Nintendo sponsor us. They strike so many people's pages if you show a damn clip of their games. They're the most like content least friendly user experience. Trust me, if you're like a content creator. Going on from that, Jocelyn and Victor, they are the first team to arrive. They win leg 1. They win a nice trip to Patagonia, Chile. I love this Expedia thing. Like I would go in if I was going in on it, guys. Like if one of us do it, I'd be like, look, like we just at least need to win one leg so we get a vacation. Just win one leg, and there's sometimes where it's like 5 or 10 grand, like big money randomly on a leg. So like winning one leg would be my ultimate goal. And then if you end up winning the whole thing, cool. But like one leg would be my goal.
Baby steps.
I expect to win like at least 30% of them.
Listen, look what happened last season. And the season 4 teams are stacking up vacations. Like Derek and Claire got a few. I mean, so they literally just like 1, 2, or 3 in a row. They just kept stacking vacations and cash. It's crazy. Elizabeth and Ileana, like I said, they are the ones to fall victim to trying to go to the massage parlor while there are 5 massages occurring. Big shout out to Ileana, who's the daughter, for convincing her mom to stay, even though she did give her mom, Elizabeth, the ultimate say by letting her know, if we go leave here and try to go do the sword thing, we're just going to burn way too much time. And there's no way we don't come in last. We may already be in last now, but at least like we'll do the massage. Ended up working out. Really funny reaction from Elizabeth when she basically like faints when Mark tells her that they didn't lose. So
Phil.
What did I say, Mark?
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, listen, at least I've presented with a good host.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that seems like the obvious choice, right? To just stay, because it's only 30 minutes. So every team, yes, you're behind the teams that are there, but like,
yeah, it's not like they all start at the same time either. Like one person can end in 10 minutes and you're in, and then you could only be 10 minutes behind somebody else. So they don't know that, but as a viewer, we know that.
Yeah, it's going to take you at least 30 minutes, like we were talking pre-show, to get the other obstacle. Or she said it on the show too, right? So it's a good call.
Bri, per usual, run down the order of placement for leg 1 of the Amazing Race 35.
All right. Hopefully I can read my handwriting here. Jocelyn Victor, first place. Rob and Corey, second place. Greg and John, third place. Morgan and Lena, fourth place. Todd and Ashley, fifth place.
Stephen and Annalie.
What's her Annalie?
Annalie, yeah.
Joel and Grant, seventh. Liam and Jeremy, eighth. Joe and Ian, ninth. Andrea and Malina and 10th.
Philly Johns.
What?
The Philly Johns.
Yeah, the Philly guys. Or Philly girls. Robin and Chelsea, 11th. And Elizabeth and Aliana, 12th. And like we said, Lichter, not Victor, is eliminated.
We've done exit interviews. I know the Victors. I still have love for you guys. If you would like to come on, would love to talk to you guys about your experience and maybe give us some insight to the cast that we haven't seen so far from a preview and the premiere. So totally shout out open. We'll shoot you guys a message. Maybe on like Instagram. We'll find you. I think you commented actually on our preview video. So
you did.
We'll kind of work that way. Guys, any closing thoughts before we hit the pause button and shift over to Survivor's season premiere?
Busy times.
Like I mentioned here, we have CBS Wednesdays covered. Brett also covered the premiere of Buddy Games. We'll look to continue that coverage here / on TikTok. Make sure you're subscribed to our TikTok. Brian covers Love and Hip Hop, all the iterations. I cover reality TV news, Below Deck. Brett with a lot of the cool clips, Big Brother news. So really, if you are subscribed to here and the TikTok, you have everything covered, and you'll see a lot of the three of us. So check out our playlist, social media, everything and anything. Brett's already getting in Survivor mode. But
Survivor time, let's go!
But until the next episode, for myself, Brian and Brett, thank you as always. Peace.